Salvete! Hello, everybody, lovers of Latin, Roman enthusiasts. What I have for you today, this offering is a cultural video, and I have a couple of inscriptions, interesting inscriptions, pertaining to charioteers. So you may have heard of the phrase panem circenses, bread and circuses, right? What the Romans loved was bread and circuses, distraction, gladiatorial games, free corn in the city, and the circus games, the chariot races. So I've got a couple of inscriptions for you. First of all, I'm just going to read a little bit of background information. I've taken this from Roman Life and Manners under the Early Empire by Ludwig Friedlander in translation. So just a couple of sections to give a bit of context. The providers of the festivals could seldom themselves find the men and the animals, and the business was taken over by capitalists and large owners of slaves and stud farms. Generally, there were 4 chariots in competitions, and there were 4 firms of the 4 colours or parties. At the head of each faction was the dominus factionis, all right, the master of the faction, the dominus. There being one or several, nearly all, like the business classes, knights, though charioteers occasionally attain this rank. The providers of the festivals had to arrange with these companies, whose prices varied according to the occasion. The numerous staff of the factions consisted partly in slaves, partly in paid freemen, and included the grooms for the stables and the circuses, besides artisans, artists, and officials of all sorts. The colours of the 4 factions were red, white, green and blue. White and red were the original parties. Their early history is unknown. Perhaps green and blue arose under the Empire. Domitian added 2 new colours, gold and purple. These 2 soon completely disappeared. The greens and the blues from the early Empire onwards thrust the older parties out of view. Possibly they amalgamated the whites and the greens and the reds with the blues without altogether losing their identity. In Constantinople of the 8th century there were 4 colours. These were the 4 colours, but a writer of the 12th century speaks of the factions as things of the past. The circus factions in Rome and Constantinople are amongst the most remarkable phenomena of the empire. The whole huge population, from the rulers of the world down to the proletariat and the slaves, were divided into 4, later into 2, hostile camps. The unnatural politics of the time and the growing demoralization and brutalization of Rome are hereby clearly exemplified. To the government, this diversion of popular passion was extremely useful, and no one, it seems, endeavoured to stem it. Several emperors were overt partisans: Vitellius and Caracalla for the blues, Caligula, Nero, Domitian and others for the greens. But the emperors not only incited the factions but terrorized their antagonists. And it goes on and on and on. Nero or Marcus Aurelius might be the master of the world. The empire might be at peace or tottering in civil war and insurrection, the barbarians on the frontiers advancing or driven back. But at Rome, for high or low, free or slaves, men or women, green and blue was the one theme of anxiety and hope. Christianity dethroned the gods of the circus, but the factions lived on. The Christians were not always restrained by their preachers from the arena. Alright, so that's a little bit of background from Friedlander about the circuses. 4 factions, 4 colours, the main ones being the green and the blues, even the emperors having a favourite colour, a favourite team, so to speak, or corporation that they followed. So with that background, let's have a look at 2 inscriptions from the collection and catalogue of inscriptions by Hermann Dessau, circa 1900. First one then. This is dedicated to Marcus Aurelius Liberus, father and master, comrade, master and charioteer of the green faction. Aurelius Caecilius Planeter Protogenes has made this gift on account of the 3 palm branches won, which means the 3 victories that were won. You'd receive a palm branch plus a monetary prize. Nazione Afri, of African nationality, ethnicity. And then it says at the end, Garamanti Nikar, Genti Nikar. And Nikar comes from the Greek and it means conquer, defeat, win. And it's likely, according to the commentator on these inscriptions, that he's talking to his horses. So Garamante, Genti, these must have been the favourite horses of the person to whom this inscription is set up, Marcus Aurelius Liberus. So go, win Garamantus, win Genti. And that was found in Rome, by the way, this inscription. All right, interesting, addressing even the horses. Second one then, a little bit longer. This was found in Tarraconensis in Roman Spain. To the shades below, dis manibus. Many inscriptions start with those letters, DM. Dis manibus, to the shades below. Alright, let me translate this off the top of my head. Sacravimus, we have consecrated this altar, this shrine, for Fuscus, one of our own, of the blue faction. We, favouring and loving him, have set this up so that all may know that this monument is a token of our affection, of our love. Pignus amoris. So the other members of this blue faction have set this up for this guy, Fuscus. Integra fama tibi. Your fame, your reputation is intact, undiminished. You earned the praise of the circus, of the racetrack. You competed with many. You, being poor, feared nobody. Having suffered resentment, you always bravely kept quiet. You lived beautifully, and you, as a mortal man, in the end, succumbed to fate. Quisquis homo es, whatever man you may be, I think this is addressing the passerby. Quaeres talem, you seek such as this. Subsiste viator, stop a moment in your tracks, passerby, journeyman, traveller. Per lege, and read through this inscription. If you remember, if you know what kind of man this was. Let all fear fate, fortune. Say, however, one thing. Fuscus has this epitaph. Fuscus has this funeral mound, this funeral monument. The stone covers his bones. It is well. Keep well. We shed tears to our innocent comrade. Now we pour wine. Nunc vina precamur. We pray, Fuscus, that you may lie, you may rest placide, placidly, in peace, peacefully. Nemo tui similis. There's nobody like you. Well, that's a nice one, isn't it? Nemo tui similis. There's nobody, or there was nobody. There's no one like you. To their fellow aurigae. The aurigae was the charioteer. All right. So there you have it. That one from Spain, and the first one, the short one, mentioning the horses' names, we think, from Rome. So two short inscriptions there, calling out to us through the ages, through the mists of time, pertaining to these entertainers, sportsmen of sorts, horse riders, charioteers of ancient Rome. I hope you enjoyed. I've got plenty more of these to come. Well, late day.